Welcome everybody to Krates, the podcast by me, JB, and Hark. And today I'm very fortunate and very happy to welcome on this episode record producer, DJ, and curator extraordinaire, Miss Rebecca Vasmant.
Hey, thank you for having me on your beautiful podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for accepting the invitation. Yeah, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm really good. I'm really good. I feel much happier now I've seen you and you've told me some beautiful life stories.
Absolutely. We get to catch up because I think the last time we saw each other was a year ago, last summer, actually, summer 2023.
Yeah.
And time flies.
Time flies. I know. I can't believe it's been so long.
Yeah. And it's been long, but at the same time, I'm always happy because I don't remember when we met from the first time. I think it was maybe I remember actually.
After my album, maybe.
It was spring or winter. I would say spring 2022.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, spring 2022. Yep. And I remember because, at that time I was doing another podcast and I was very active in the jazz world, which is not so much the case these days, but, it's something that I still like and still love a lot, And I was trying to connect with some colleagues because we were like, I would say media people for like the whole current jazz scene.
Yeah.
And I reached out to you and you were so nice to like answer back and be like, okay, whenever I'm back in Paris, and this is something like very true, back in Paris, because it's been a while since you were in Paris, like you have some family here.
Yeah, that's true. I think that the last time I came to Paris was for slightly sad reasons because I lost a friend of mine. Mm-hmm. So I left it quite a long time to come back this time because I knew it would be sad. But now that I'm back here again, I realize that it's all about going to all the places that we went together and reforming new happy memories and remembering my friends. Mm-hmm. So yeah, this time it has been a little bit longer, but this trip's shown me a lot of things. And one of those things is that, I really enjoy being in Paris. I love my friends in Paris. I love the energy. So I'm not going to leave it so long next time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I remember the first day that we met, you invited me to join you and some friends.
Yes.
And I wanted to tell you thank you again, but I've told you thank you before, but I wanted to thank you again because you made me feel so comfortable. And I was like, okay, she's inviting me in an environment where I don't know anyone. And you made me feel so comfortable and you introduced me to your friends. Oh. And it's a very beautiful memory that we have together.
Yeah, I really appreciate you saying that. And for me, this is normal. It's normal to conduct yourself like this. If you invite a new friend, because obviously we just met, you're a very new friend, and I know that you don't know everyone. Well, of course. But what I realize is, sometimes people are stuck in their own agendas and they want to catch up with their own friends that night. But I'm really glad that you felt welcome because, of course, you were welcome.
And it was a very nice foundation to our relationship because not only we were colleagues, but we became friends that night. And every time that you come to Paris, even though we don't like do something related to what we do, our work and stuff, we just take the time to have a drink or have a coffee or eat together and just like spend some quality time together. Yeah. And it's amazing when this type of stuff happen. And I really think it's something that is a characteristic of yours, And I'm so happy to have you in my new show.
Yeah.
So it was your first time. It is your first time at Hark, right?
Yeah.
How do you like the shop? How do you like the environment here?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's really great. I was looking around, I was looking at all the records that they have on the shelves. They're great records. Then I saw the repair shop and the place where they sell all the repaired stereo equipment. And I think it's amazing. I think it's really interesting what they're doing and how they're combining different parts of music industry, if you like.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you buy the records and then you play them on the equipment that you can also buy here. Yeah, I think it's great. I think it feels really nice. And I was saying to the guys earlier that as a woman who buys records and who has visited record shops for a long time, sometimes they can be quite intimidating to go inside just because everyone's men and everyone's all very serious about the records. And I don't think it's a deliberate thing, perhaps, but sometimes it can feel scary to go in when for the first time, but I didn't get that vibe. And of course you were there. And but yeah, it feels great. It felt welcoming and I had great records there and just good vibes.
Yes.
Good vibes.
Super. And it was a perfect vibe to also starting to go back memory lane. And we started talking about how you got into record digging and like how you started your relationship with vinyls.
Yeah.
And tell us a little more about it. So did you grow up in a household where maybe your dad or your mom were into records?
So I grew up in a household where music was always playing, but interestingly enough, my parents weren't necessarily into music in a extra way. So they used to listen to, the current hip hop in the charts, or I remember my mum used to always play the TLC record that was at the time, really nice music, but not necessarily super specialist or anything like that. And I really got into music in a big way because my big brother, he was a skateboarder. And so he used to travel a bit to America with his skateboard. And at the time it was probably maybe mid-90s before the internet. And he used to bring back tapes of hip hop. And I was obsessed with this idea that the music that my brother had and showed us, other people didn't know. And I was obsessed with the idea of how does everyone not know this? This is amazing. It made me feel excited and emotions, it evoked emotions within me. So the idea that other people had never heard that music was totally crazy to me. So I used to just be fascinated by telling my friends in school about the hip hop tapes. And, I guess the fascination for new music and the theory of knowing music that you might otherwise not know started there, I think. Like the idea of, it wasn't digging back then, but the idea of just discovering music that I might not know before. Yeah, it was like a fascination. It came then.
So it's so cool that, you get to be introduced to all this amazing music by your brother. So there's this relation, like, it was part of your relationship and how you build your relationship with your brother, also.
Yep.
And it was around the time you were talking about the mid-90s. So, like this specific time in our life where we starting like really building our personality and owning it, because we always have our personality, like growing up from the first days, but understanding a little bit more about us. And you've picked up a very interesting record for the first record.
I love it so much.
Because you're known to be jazz connoisseur, right? Kinda.
Yeah, I mean, the weird thing is, I feel like the perception of me and my music is very focused around jazz because, of course, that's my taste. And I'm very vocal about my passion for jazz online.
That's how I got in, I got to know you,
Yeah, and I love that. But at the same time, I'm into a lot of other things, but everything stems from jazz. Or I got brought to jazz through other things. But then when you dissect it, everything comes from jazz. Like, for example, this record, yes,
Beats, Rhymes, and Life by A Tribe Called Quest,
yes,
which came out in 1996. A beautiful year. You were 10-year-old, I think,
cool.
around that time. And can you talk to us?
I was 10, yeah.
Can you talk to us about this?
So this record is probably and definitely my favorite hip hop record ever. It's just so special to me because I grew up listening to this, and I feel like I still listen to it sometimes now. On the odd occasion, I'll put it on and it's just like, oh yeah, this is so good. And I feel like it's just aged perfectly. It's as good now as it was then. And that's quite hard to do in music. And, you know, this record opened the doors to me essentially being who I am now. So in a way, I have everything to owe to this record. And it taught me about, you know, jazz samples, and it taught me about drum machines, and it taught me about, you know, even just the fact that I really love some rappers' voices and tones over the other. So I guess it taught me about rhythm and sound. And yeah, I mean, I owe everything to it, and I love it. And it just is so great to listen to, and it's happy. And I play it sometimes in my DJ sets. And I just sometimes can't understand, how could it sound as good now, if not better, than it did in 1996? I guess... You know why? Loads of reasons.
You know why? Because it's like to me, like there's like multiple reasons, but you know, like I'm going to be like the basic hardcore hip hop fan and say that it's because it's the first A Tribe Called Quest record where J Dilla is involved.
Yes, of course. Yeah. The J Dilla production for sure. Yeah. I think that's it. And I'm a huge fan of J Dilla, and anything he's produced, I'm a huge fan of. So that's definitely played a part. And it's interesting to know that back then I didn't know, you know, who J Dilla was. I didn't know about production. But it's interesting to know that my taste has never changed, and the taste that was forming, it almost feels like, okay, I'm being true to myself now with my taste, because actually I still love this. And it's not like I did listen to some really bad stuff, but I can see why I listened to it. I think the first single I ever bought was on vinyl was the Brown Sugar, D'Angelo. And this is the first hip hop record, but I still love both of those today. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I can see the journey, and I can see how this started the journey, and I'm very grateful for this record.
You know, I have an anecdote about J Dilla and Q-Tip about... So Q-Tip discovered J Dilla like sometimes in the 90s, and I think he got introduced to J.D's work by M. Fiddler. So probably they were like touring in Detroit. You know, like M. Fiddler is like J Dilla's mentor. Is the one who introduced him to like the MPC, and he was like, okay, come to my house, use my MPC and all that. And the first time Q-Tip heard J Dilla's work, he says that it was like, guys, listen to this guy, and come on, it sounds like me, but better, you know. Okay. and I love this anecdote about Q-Tip because it shows like how humble he is. It was finding like a younger guy like doing something that was clearly inspired by his work, and he was humble enough to be like, this guy is better than me.
Do you want to know an interesting story?
Tell me.
My current manager and really good friend Tinku, she started Amp Fiddler's career in many ways because Amp Fiddler was already playing, and at the time, this must have been, I'm not sure of the time frame, in the early 2000s, I guess. And she was a DJ, and she was booking for some venues in London. And the story is that she took her money from a DJ fee and went to Amp Fiddler and said, here, take this cash, just form a band. Like, you really need to do the live project. Let me manage you and form a band. So Tinku then worked with Amp Fiddler for a long, long time, up until maybe the last 5 years of his life. And in my house, I have her record collection, and there is a quarter of a huge shelf, just all Amp Fiddler. Everything Amp Fiddler ever released, 5-10 copies of it. And so in a way, I feel like, oh, this is amazing because, you know, there's so many amazing connections in the music industry that people make, and things that happen by chance and coincidences, just like the story you told me, just like the story of Tinku with Amp Fiddler, just like the story of, you know, me and you meeting. It's just like, we probably don't realize it, or they didn't realize it at the time, but that's changed a lot in music history. I mean, Tinku giving him that £500 or whatever it was, you know, these guys meeting, it's crazy because a lot changes, and in the future it's remembered, and it's just quite It's quite mind-blowing, isn't it?
It is.
Anyway, sorry, I went on a...
No, of course. I want us to listen to a track from this record.
Yes.
Which one would you like to listen?
I would like to listen to Jam.
Okay, let's go. I'm going to let you put it.
Okay. I think that's my favorite one. Yeah.
It's both choice because there's a lot of good stuff in.
I think it's the right one. Is it side B track one? Let's see if it's the wrong track. Is this?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the one. That's my favorite one on the whole album.
Okay.
Which is interesting. Love this one. I think it's the groove on the drums and everything. Oh, sorry.
Hello?
This is my favorite. Absolutely. I love it.
Yo, you want to the sport tonight? Word up. What you in? I don't know. I'll probably put on my black leggings and my Tommy Hilfiger t-shirt because it's type hot outside. Word up. I'll put on my shorts and get jiggity for the fellas. Word up. Yeah, no doubt. You know what I'm saying? I gotta look right for the niggas. You know what I'm saying? Aight, yo, that shit gonna be ill. Aight, yeah.
It was Friday afternoon in the middle of June. Heineken bottle caps and the aroma of boom. Around the time,
What's your favorite song on this?
Shooting dice, talking shit, hoping the cash would last. Yo, this was
Very, very difficult.
I didn't know no better. Junie rolled around in the tinted out Jetta.
Then he introduced me to that hydro smoke, and I took one too. Yo, I almost choked. See,
I would say the Hark because of the
okay.
Henry Franklin sample, you know.
Good choice.
But yeah, stressed out. Get a Hole once again, of course, which was like the lead single. Yeah, a lot of great stuff. I was trying to check the credits to see if JD was credited like on some. And it's funny because the Up is the only track on there not produced by the Uma, which is like JD and Adi Shade Mohammed and Q-Tip coalition. And this one is produced like mainly.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. You can see the credits, for example, you know, James CNC.
Now I'm feeling kind of jaded. While incoherent, me and the fellas started
It's just brilliant.
But grabbing, mad laughing, just asking.
That shit caught up. You saw you looking fed up. They said you jonesing with this one, you jibbing with that one.
Hey yo, I'm just doing my thing, yo, I'm just having fun. You don't see me in here wildin', pulling out no gun.
So good.
Yo, I see some of that thing, girl, and I want some. So let's step inside this corner so that we can rap on over this bumpin' ass song and plus I'm on Perry.
Tribe Called Quest, they have, I mean, like the whole catalog is stacked. I don't think they have an album, one bad album. Even like the latest album, the one that came out most recently. It's been a while now. I don't remember when it came out exactly, but yeah, even that one is super good.
Yeah.
You know, like very underrated producer, Q-Tip.
Yeah, definitely.
I love his stuff, and he's doing this new, he's producing this new LL Cool J album.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you have to check that out. It's very good.
Okay, cool.
And it's so nice because, you know, like when the old heads come back, like someone like LL Cool J, you're always like, okay, what's the aesthetic they're gonna take?
Yeah.
And I like the fact that they're doing it like very fine and like relying on, you know, like sample-based music.
Yeah.
And it's like connecting with Q-Tip also. It's like it's a Queens, New York thing.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I love it.
Woo. Oh, what a tune. And you know, this really rocks the dance floor as well. Sometimes I love dropping this
Does it?
right in the middle of like jazz dance or even house music. Sometimes I just cut and then play this, and people receive it so well because it's groovy and it drives forward and it's like bouncy, and I don't know. It's great. Yes, Q-tip for producing such a banger. As you just told me, it was produced by Q-tip.
So you were talking about the relationship of people on the dance floor and you playing records. And I think it's a huge part of your relationship with vinyl records, because you're a DJ and you're from an era where it was still a thing to play vinyls, you know. How did you start DJing? Where and how did you get into it, pretty much?
So I got into DJing because, as I was saying before, about my, fascination for discovering new music and the thought that not everybody has the same taste in music also really fascinated me as a young kid or a medium-aged kid. And I had seen videos on, TV adverts, and it was, I guess it was like clubbing compilations or CDs, and I'd seen on the TV a DJ, and I thought, oh my God, that's amazing. It's someone's job is to play the music in those places. And obviously I was too young to understand what clubbing actually was. And then when I got a little bit older, I did start going to clubs, and I just immediately knew that's what I want to do. I want to be a DJ, and I want to start a music collection, and I just wanted to do it. So I got my first student loan when I went to college, and I was then able to start buying records slowly. I got a placement in a radio station in England, in this place called Birmingham, and they had a huge record warehouse. It was called Hard to Find Records, and it was the biggest record shop warehouse in the UK or whatever. So I used to go there, and I used to spend my student loan. I would buy like 2-3 records at a time every week that I went there, and I just started forming a really small collection of house music. I had a few records, like Roy Ayers record, and Everyone Loves the Sunshine, of course. And I had, D'Angelo, Brown Sugar, but mostly it was house music, and it was jazz tinged Chicago house music from this label called Ohm Records. And at the time, everything that came out on that label I loved, because it was like, sunny, happy vocals, keys, trumpets, essentially jazz over house music, which I now realize. So yeah, I started buying records, and I had my belt drive secondhand turntables from the Cash. It was called Cash Converters. It was basically like, a secondhand equipment store. And I paid paid it up every week. And then when I finished paying, I took my things home, and I was all excited. Basically, I just taught myself how to mix. I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't, it was kind of before the days of YouTube tutorials. There was YouTube, but YouTube was more like bloggers and music songs and stuff. There wasn't really this, like, you can learn anything on YouTube yet at that point. And so I had a male housemate, and me and him both used to try and learn how to mix. And he learned within 3 weeks, and it took me, honestly, I'd say about 4, 5, 6 months. So it didn't come naturally. I had to push to do it. And then eventually I learned how to mix, and I felt comfortable. So I made a mix CD, gave it to some clubs. This one club invited me to go and play. I went to play. And actually the first DJ set that I did was at a club before that, and I just croaked it. I just got too nervous, and it wasn't good. And to this day, sometimes people say, I think I saw you in Edinburgh one time. You were really bad. I'm like, yep.
It wasn't me.
Yep, that was my first ever gig, yep. But then the second gig I did, it was better. And then they asked me to do a weekly residency. So it was in this club in Edinburgh called Cabaret Voltaire, and it was drum and bass in the main room and house and techno in the back room. So this was on a Tuesday, and it was really busy. It was a student night. So I played every Tuesday for, I don't know, a year and a half. And I honestly think that that's where I learned how to read a crowd and how to DJ. in that residency in the club, and I would play. It was all vinyl, and then eventually, I decided I was going to start to buy digital music. Probably about 3 years in to DJing, but I didn't have access to CDJs at home because they were too expensive. So I kind of learned how to mix on CDJs in the club.
You know, there's something about being a DJ that I always tell to people who want to get into it, who are trying to learn, is that a real DJ, it's like when you understand what DJing is, you have like just like two decks. Deck A, deck B,
and a mixer.
You know, you can you can do it in any situation. Maybe deck A is a tape player, deck B is a tape player. Maybe it's like a CD player, or like maybe it's like a computer and a vinyl, but you have deck A, deck B,
and a mixer,
and a mixer. And if you're a real DJ, you can create a vibe with, with this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It takes a little experience for sure to understand that. But this is to me what I did like a DJ. So, you know, whenever I'm like in any environment, maybe you have like a few seconds of like, oh, what's happening?
Yeah.
But
what's this equipment? I don't know how to use it.
Yeah. But
then you just work it out.
You know? And you picked a record that I will say will kind of represent the music that you were playing at Cabaret Voltaire. That's how it is.
Yes, Cabaret Voltaire. Yeah, because it's obviously a French. Yeah.
Cabaret Voltaire.
You're saying it in the correct way. Cabaret Voltaire.
But so you picked this record, Underground Resistance, and it's named Interstellar Fugitives.
Yes.
1998.
Yes.
You were still very young at that time. But it's something maybe that inspired you from this era.
Yeah, so I think for me, when I started moving from house into more techno-y sounds, Underground Resistance was a huge learning influence on the taste that I began to have in techno. I used to love things that were a bit groovier and a bit more drum machine led. I loved acid stuff. I loved this one producer called Ben Sims who made like really groovy, kind of jacking, kind of like funk influenced stuff. But Underground Resistance was just a solid place to start and for me to learn. And I think that most of the Underground Resistance artists and records are just incredible. And a lot of people have taken a lot from the era and the records. So I just felt like it was right. I mean, obviously, I don't really know what else to say other than huge influence. Yeah, huge influence to a lot of people.
Yeah, on a whole generation for sure.
Perfect music in many, many ways, made in a very, non-electronic way, in a hardware fashion, which I really respect. Before the days of bedroom producing, which I admire. So
yeah, let's listen to one song. Let's pick. I don't know if you.
Let's go blind.
Let's go blind.
I think we should go blind.
Let's go. I'm choosing.
Okay. I think we should go blind because with the Underground Resistance records, that's largely how I got into discovering them. I used to go in blind. So let's go in blind. I've had a million Underground Resistance t-shirts and hoodies and fucking record bags over the years. Like, it was like a costume at one point. Now it's jazz t-shirts. I just thought of something. I feel like now my taste in drum and bass, maybe something's just clicked, that the fact that I love drum and bass maybe came from stuff like this.
Okay.
It could make sense.
Sounds like, a little bit electro also, like.
I feel like one thing I really love about this is the fact that if this was in the right place in the DJ set, on the right sound system at the right time, it would be incredible. And I feel like that probably stands for any other song on this whole double album. I love it. I love it.
I just love the little notes.
In demand. It's great. Again, it's got a really good groove, I think, to the drums. Quite a shock going from Tribe Called Quest to this, but once you ease in, it's fine. You know, the energy changes. It's
Sounds
fine.
so much like 1998.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you're right.
To me, it was the era of commercial drum and bass.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
You know, like all the like Matrix music. You know, to me it could be like in a scene from Matrix. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
The 90s.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I see what you're saying. It could easily be in the Matrix.
And Underground Resistance should have made the music of Matrix.
Oh, absolutely.
Come on.
Underground Resistance should have made the music for every action movie.
Yeah,
between
yeah.
the years of X and X. Woo! That was a banger, as we say in Scotland.
We say the same in French.
A banger.
Un banger.
Wait, what's the word in French for as a banger? About a song.
Un hit. Je sais pas. We have like English words for this.
So you say banger?
We definitely say oui, ouais, un banger. And we say that for like different stuff. Like for example, you go eat to a very nice restaurant, like a dish.
Oh yeah, that's a banger.
That's a banger.
Oh my god, I love it. This was accidental.
Let me be your French slang teacher. Come on.
Thank you, JB. Thank you.
So yeah, so you start your DJ career, you know, like I'd say in the late 2000s, mid 2000s.
Yes, it would have been 2006. 2006 was the first year. So before I had my residency in the club, I actually went to Ibiza. And did some gigs, you know, without being paid, but just went and did loads of gigs in bars and clubs in a way to learn. And then when I came back, that was when I had my residency. So yeah, 2006.
It's a crazy era because I'm from 89, so 2006 I was 17.
Yeah,
and these are like so like. Formative years as a music aficionado, you know.
Yeah.
Actually, not really formative years. I would say like the years where we mature, because formative years are like very early. I think as music lovers, we kind of fall in the pot when we are around 10 years old, 11 years old, because we started getting fascinated with this. And then over time, we just like become more and more and more obsessed. And then like,
for sure,
like mature around the late teenage years, you know, like, I felt like, you know, like when I was 17, I was like, a connoisseur, you know,
Yeah.
like the one who was putting people on some stuff, and the one who always wanted to know new stuff about music, but like the hip stuff. Either it is like some old records or some new records, but you know, like being a taste maker kind of, you know. And like I love it because we were like having this experience around the same time. Actually, I wasn't like a active DJ when I was like that young in the like late 2000s, but I was so fascinated with music, and I think it was around that time, you know, the late 2000s, that I got a lot into jazz music also, you know.
Yeah.
And I love reading, and my relationship with music has always been also with reading. So I was, you know, knowing about some music, hearing about it, and being like, okay, is there a book where I can find like a biography or autobiography or like some other group which explores the music? So this is how I learned about music. And I remember specifically when I was 17, like the cool thing, you know, to me was to be a jazz head. You know?
Oh yeah.
But like in the same kind of the same path as you. So like hearing hip hop and like getting into J Dilla, getting into DJ Premier,
DJ Premier.
You know, like the Pitchfork and stuff, and being like, okay, like there's more, because I hear this sample, I want to know about it, and I look for the sample, and this is like, I don't know, like Miles Davis or John Coltrane, and I want to listen to these records too, you know. I really wanted to discover what was behind the music.
Yes, I feel that.
Mm-hmm.
I think another hip hop group that I remember is Jazz Liberators, and I feel like between Tribe Called Quest and Jazz Liberators, for me, it's exactly what you said. It's coming to have the desire to understand where the samples come from, which for me was a huge kind of change, to be wondering where they came from, and to be wondering, how do I discover more about the actual music behind the samples, you know? So
you started collecting jazz and going and opening this quest.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Yeah. I think I had a moment where one of my friends showed me this record called Stan Tracy Jazz Suite, and the track was Starless and Bible Black. And when I listened to that, something clicked in my mind, and I just realized, it's not the beats, it's not the samples, it's not the house, it's not the hip hop. Obviously I love that and I'm very grateful for that, but it's the jazz, it's the music behind the samples that I really want to discover. And that's what was making me love that music so much, was the jazz that was sampled in it. And I honestly think that hearing that track changed my life in terms of, you know, what records I was collecting, and just completely changed my life, because now I'm in this jazz thing, and it's thanks to that track, and I just love it so much. It's a shame there wasn't a copy in the shop, or else I would have picked it up.
But you find something else in the shop.
Yes.
That you can talk to us about. This record, Donald Byrd.
Yes.
Live at Montreux.
So for me, Donald Byrd is just one of my regular musicians that's always been played in my house. I love to listen to Donald Byrd. I think Donald Byrd's extremely talented. I think pretty much all of his records are incredible. This one in particular, I feel like it's a really good listening record. I feel like it evokes loads of emotion. I just feel like it's absolutely beautiful. And also I feel like it's relevant to talk about Blue Note, because for me, when I was getting into buying jazz, but I didn't really know that much about jazz yet, I used to default into just buying Blue Note stuff, which now that I've kind of taken a full circle and I feel like I know a lot more about jazz, I realize there's actually great records on Blue Note.
Of course.
Blue Note's a label that's done a lot for the jazz industry, and the way that they record the records and the stories about how they used to take the pictures for the sleeves, and it's just incredibly interesting. And I think it's really important to play something both by Donald Byrd and on Blue Note. So we're here.
when we love music like we do, sometimes we have to find strategies to keep our like listening habits dynamic, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, sometimes when I don't know what to listen to, because it happens sometimes, or when I don't want to go back and listen to the music that I already know, and just go to Wikipedia and go to the Blue Note discography article on Wikipedia and just pick one reference that I've not listened to before, you know. And this is something that I do very often. So yeah, let's go through this one actually on I don't know, like just what we should check.
I think the obvious choice is obviously Blackbird.
Mm-hmm.
So let's do that.
Okay, let's play Blackbird, please.
Okay.
Donald Byrd.
Yeah, I really love live recordings as well because it makes you feel like you're at the show. A banger, as we would say, both in English and in French, as I've just discovered. Yeah. Woo. Could you imagine if you were at that show? Crazy. Yeah.
I don't know if there's like some footage of this show, but I see synthesizers here, and I can imagine the stage because like 73 synthesizers, they were like a room.
Yeah, for sure. There must be a huge rack.
Yeah, you know, they were coming with like the impressive stuff and forward thinking because they were mixing the traditional like acoustic instruments with like synthesizer there.
Oh, there's the Rhodes, my favorite ever instrument. So good, isn't it?
Because you were telling me earlier that you were sometimes not very receptive with like, you know, like a mix of
jazz and funk.
Yeah, but this is like definitely jazz funk, but at its finest. Come on.
Yeah, at its finest. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
it's beautiful.
Track 2. You've Got It Back There by Stevie Wonder. Okay, I definitely have to check that out. I love this song.
Because it's a live recording, it's mixed quite roughly, but I feel like that adds to the magic of it. The live version.
I love it. Always fascinated with live recording because always thinking of the energy and focus it takes to make this moment happen, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Everyone is like so locked in to create this moment. All right.
Banger.
Blackbird by Donald Byrd.
Mm-hmm.
We have Donald Byrd leading, of course, and trumpet, flugelhorn, and vocals. Fonzie Miesel on trumpet vocals. Alan Barnes on tenor saxophone and flute. Nathan Davis on tenor and soprano saxophone. Kevin Turney on electric piano. Larry Miesel on synthesizer. Barney Perry, electric guitar. Henry Franklin on electric guitar. Keith Kilgo, drums and vocals. And Ray Armando on congas and other percussion.
What a lineup. Especially Larry Miesel, I mean.
Yeah, it's like stacked.
Yeah.
But, it takes the best to do such an amazing record.
Yep.
It's interesting that we are listening to this record and talking about a band situation because you yourself you are a band leader yourself, right?
I am a band leader. Since releasing my With Love from Glasgow record, we got asked to do we got asked to perform live by Mr. Scruff in Manchester as a one-off initially. So we did it and we just loved it so much and it went really well that we decided maybe we'll do a second, and then it just became a thing. So now we're an 8-piece band with harpist, full harp, no mini harp. And I must be crazy, as I often think, but I love it, and we've become a music family, and it's just, there's something really special about playing the tracks that I've produced as an electronic producer. There's just something so special about playing it live with musicians. It's amazing.
And I was lucky enough to experience Rebecca Vasmant. I don't know how you call
Ensemble.
The Rebecca Vasmant Ensemble.
Ensemble, yeah.
Live here in Paris at New Morning, and it was so good.
Oh yeah, thank you for coming. It was amazing.
Yeah,
good memories.
It was a good, like very good show, and also you are surrounded by very nice people too that I got to meet and spend some time with, and members of this project right here that I'm rapping. I'm definitely rapping. I have to rap the Glasgow scene, having you on the show. And it was such a beautiful moment, because I mean, like doing music with great people, it's like something different. Please, can you talk about your experience working with other musicians and musicians also from your city,
So I think my experience working with musicians has been nothing but growth in a completely positive way. It's made me have this amazing family. And I say family because it really is family. Being on tour with people just brings you closer in a whole different way. I'm just so grateful that these amazing, talented musicians want to work with me. And it's quite a humbling experience to be in a room with musicians that are so talented, but also it's quite confidence building because you think, well, we're a team now and we're a band and we're doing this thing, and like, oh shit, people are starting to respect us in the jazz scene, and we're getting booked for festivals like We Out Here Festival and Love Supreme and things that are quite up there in terms of people doing quite serious, not serious jazz in the sense of it being classic jazz sounds, but it's really amazing to see this explosion of young jazz sounds, which takes influence from things like hip hop and things like loads of other types of music. But it's amazing. It's positive. It's been eye opening. It's been a real learning curve. And I'm just, it feels like it's this new phase of life where we just have a band now. And we're not going to stop it because it's been going so well. And it's never something I wanted. But now that I have it, it's actually kind of cool. So I love it,
And I was talking about you working with a musician from Glasgow.
Yes.
But like you mentioned before, on stage, you also have a harp.
Yeah, we have a harpist.
A harpist. Amanda Whiting.
Indeed, we love her.
Yeah, definitely. Who's not Scottish?
She's Welsh. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. She's Welsh, so she's a representative of the wide range of British and musicians from the UK contributing to the scene. And I think she will agree that one of most obvious inspiration is, of course,
Alice Coltrane.
Yeah, the one and only, the great.
Yes. Oh, I have another story for you, actually.
Tell me.
And it's again to do with Tinku, my friend and manager. So Tinku manages also this artist called Brandy Younger, who's a harpist.
Yes, from New York, I think.
Yes, from the US. And Brandy Younger is the next in line to get Alice Coltrane's harp through her foundation because they've they decide who should get it and who has earned it.
Okay.
So they are going to record a record on Alice Coltrane's harp once it's restored, which will be quite a long process.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah, and she deserves it.
She's super talented.
Yeah. Brandy Younger. I discovered her with
The NPR?
no, not the NPR, but a record with a double bass player. His name is missing from me, but like the name of the record is Force Majeure.
Oh,
you remember that record? It's like a duo.
It's an amazing name for a record too.
Yeah, and there were I think it was recorded like that whole COVID lockdown era, which was huge for like the jazz scene, you know. You
of
remember
course,
that time. And that's how I got into her. And yeah, she's definitely keeping this energy of jazz up and legendary like women jazz musician alive.
Brandy is the next Alice Coltrane.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't know this record specifically by Alice Coltrane, but we should definitely listen to one of these.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think you should pick this time.
Okay, just by the names. Because sometimes when you play records, you get inspired by the names, right?
What are you gonna pick?
I've been in love, and
Okay.
and shout out to my girlfriend, and we are in a long distance relationship, and there's this track here on side one called "I Want to See You."
Okay,
and,
let's do it. Let's do it.
and I'll dedicate it to her.
Oh. Oh, you're so cute. I love it. In your bag.
Come on.
Oh, and it just so happens that we're not able to open that one because it's a collector's. Okay, I will. I promise.
It happens that this record is a little precious. We're not going to open it today, but at Hark, they do it very, very well. They have an OG version of it. And we're going to listen to this.
Thank you for lending us your copy.
Absolutely. And if you want the OG version, it's available at the shop. And this is the one that we are going to play now.
Yeah.
So
I want to see you.
I want to see you.
Don't scratch it, JB. Be careful. The pressure's on. Yeah, that's it. No fingerprints. Yeah, that's in perfect shape. Where did this come from? A collection? A collection from someone in Paris? Crazy.
Because one of my uncles was like actually one of
secret info, not for the podcast.
Fun fact.
Yeah.
You know that Alice Coltrane wasn't embraced. Like you could imagine that because accepting women in music
Yeah.
is still a fight, if I can say, a battle today.
Yeah.
But back in the 60s,
God. Yeah.
I mean, a black woman
Yeah.
in America, like this record is from 1968.
Yeah.
So 4 years after like the civil rights,
Yeah. Yeah.
come on,
Yeah.
doing Hark and being the wife of like arguably like the most celebrated jazz musician at the time.
That must have been hard.
She was out there and releasing her music and doing her stuff, and people were like, "Come on, girl!"
Yeah.
Like really, like, "Come on, girl!
Yeah. Yeah.
Who do you think you are?" and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I learned that from like my dad's my friend's dad, and yeah, she just kept doing her thing, and she was also doing free jazz and very avant-garde
Yeah.
and spiritual things, and
Yeah.
people were like, "Girl, what are you doing?"
Yeah. This is weird. Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
And she like now we know about Alice Coltrane. Now she's celebrated, but it hasn't always been that way,
Yeah.
Like sometimes, history is rewritten, and the perception that we have of history is very
Yeah.
different. But she was a pariah at the time,
Yeah.
And shout out to her for like
Yeah.
just keep doing music and keep doing her stuff and like
Yes.
turning
Absolutely.
and being just like celebrating her husband and just
Yeah.
keep his legacy alive and created her own legacy, like
Yeah.
playing piano and playing the harp also. That's like produced by Coltrane.
Yes.
I want to see you now. I get it. Come on, it's sad.
It's sad. Yeah. I feel this.
Yeah.
It's got sad emotion.
I think this whole record, it's an homage.
Yeah.
Yeah, this music is dedicated to the mystic on the roof, known as John Coltrane, during the period from September. It's crazy. Very
Interesting.
Beautiful. Very beautiful. So beautiful.
I love how some of the drums are just mixed so far back.
That's my train. I want to see you love this guy. That's what make you love. Okay, I love this too.
Yeah, me too.
This is another thing that I loved about this. And yeah, Bastien.
Oh, what? Where's there a typo? Ooh, wait. Oh, yeah, there's a typo.
I love typos.
To the reissues label.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a typo on this, actually.
No, like the typo is on the original.
Ah, okay.
Of course, the reissue, they were like, there's a typo on the original. But
Let's fix
yeah,
it.
so like. But they were like, oh, we're gonna do it right.
Yeah, they should have just left it as it is.
Yeah, come on. But at the same time,
You know
this
that
one owns value because of the typo too.
You know that there's going to be some record collector nerds that aren't going to buy that because the typo isn't also on the reissue. Love the world of nerdy record collecting.
Now you can say it if you go to a shop in, I don't know, like in Turkey or whatever. You're like, oh, this is the type. Does it have the typo? I'm not buying it. Does not. The type. No, the original.
Yeah. Crazy. banger.
Okay.
Be careful.
I am. Great. Like the disc, like the whole quality of the disc is like made to last a long time. Like
Yeah.
like comparing this to this, like just not the same. You can just like hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Definitely. Yeah. The cardboard.
yeah, the cardboard is like very very good.
Yeah.
Quality also. Nice. Okay. I had something in mind talking about. All right, listening to this made me think of your own very first album,
Yeah.
which is called
With Love from Glasgow.
With Love from Glasgow, which was a statement for a name because the whole world at that time had their eyes on the UK and the UK jazz scenery, which I will say almost. Oh, this would be like a very hard statement, but played a good part in the whole revamping, if I can say, renewed interest in current jazz.
Yep.
I would say, like definitely the UK jazz, especially London.
Yeah.
Played a very good, a very important role. We can also mention Chicago for sure and Los Angeles. I would say like these were like the three main cities that renewed the interest for jazz. And listening to this Alice Coltrane record made me think about your record because I got to get to know you a little because we've known each other for 2 years.
Yeah.
And I think that on a daily basis, you're a very lively person. You have like an amazing and almost very communicative energy,
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was listening back to this record this week and it's so peaceful.
Yeah.
Like With Love from Glasgow was like a statement for you of this side of you that maybe people don't know about, which is like peaceful and recentered and
There's a huge part of me that's peaceful and I enjoy being in nature and around animals and like near water. And when I'm at home or when I'm with my friends or with my partner, there's this part of me that loves meeting new people and loves being extroverted and loves chatting and laughing and making jokes. But there's also a completely different side, which is also a part of me as well. So, yeah. That makes sense.
And I love that you choose for your first album to show this part of you,
Yeah.
And it's such a, and it's, you're talking about being in nature, you integrated nature sounds in this recording.
Yeah.
And I was thinking
nature sounds from Scotland that I recorded.
Yeah, field recordings, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And I loved it. And I was like, I like, getting to know you and spending time with you, I sense this part of you because you're very caring and you put a lot of attention on people around you. So it made sense to me, like going back and listening to this record and feeling this like chill vibe. Not even chill vibe because chill vibe is something, but more like a spiritual vibe.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
and
deeper.
Deeper and something that has to to deal with well-being.
Well-being, yeah. That's
Also,
Yeah. I think that's so important. That's a huge important part of my life, which often is difficult with touring and with music festivals. But in between, I feel that that's such an important part, of everyone's lives. But, keeping yourself calm and connected to yourself is huge.
How did you feel when you got your first album on vinyl in your hands?
Oh my God.
Knowing that, of course, so this was you as an artist, but at the same time, you produced this record, and as a, like music producer, but as a record producer too. So you made your dream come true on your own terms.
Yeah. I think that I was excited and I was nervous because I didn't know how it would be received, and I was proud, just mostly excited and very nervous for how people might receive it, and for, are they going to like it? Are people going to play it? How's all that going to go? But I think fundamentally I was just excited for what was to come. And it completely changed my life. So I'm really grateful for that.
Do you remember the feeling of putting the needle?
Yeah. And I was just so...
Where were you?
I was in my house, in my living room, in my old apartment. And I just, put it on, and I think I played it quite a few times, but I just couldn't believe that it was my music on a vinyl. My first album, it was crazy. It was a crazy moment.
I'm looking forward for the next chapter for you, for Rebecca Vasmant, and the Rebecca Vasmant Ensemble.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little about it?
Yeah, so I've got a second album coming. I can't say too much more information, but it's going to be out next year. And I'm very excited.
You're working on it?
Oh, no, it's finished.
It's finished?
Yes.
All right.
It's due for release. Everything is done. Everything's arranged. I'm really excited. I hope you're going to like it.
I hope I'm going to like it too. And I'm looking forward to listening to this new record by you. Yes, moving on the next record. On this show, we always talk about our relationship with vinyl, the record, and you as a season digger.
Yes.
You have your little tactics when you come to the shop. Here, you came to the shop earlier and you were like, just like in the candy shop, activated.
Yeah. Completely.
And you did something that I found so cool. So you were like going through the crates and you just found this record.
Yeah. Oh my God, let's listen to it.
So like tell me what happened when you...
Well, I really enjoy the prospect of discovering music that I've never heard. So for me, when I go to record shops, I don't only look for stuff that I know, that I already know the music and I want a copy. I'd look for stuff that I'm like, have no idea what it is, have no idea about any of the musicians on the record, and that's exciting. So I try to take at least 50% of digging completely blind, and 50%, I might know the bass player or the pianist. But this is Czech, I believe, from 77. And for me, the sleeve, usually you can... Sometimes it's not predictable, but sometimes it is. And for me, this is either going to be really amazing or really bad.
Yeah.
Not bad, just not to our taste.
Yeah.
So I would love personally to listen to this.
Yeah. And you were telling me that, you do this often. And like the cover is pretty nice. The cover art is pretty nice.
It's great, yeah. It's
if
amazing.
the music isn't what you really like at the moment, or it doesn't interest you that much, at least you can still put it in like as decoration in your living room.
Exactly. Exactly.
And put it in your living room and tell like the story about it. That I went to this record store in this city and I found this, and it was just nice. So I'm going to try to tell the name of it. It's Gustav Braun. It's from Gustav Braun, which is a very animated and happy fellow on this cover.
I love him.
And it's from Czech Republic or Czechoslovakia back in the days, from 1977. And yes, the record is named Polymelodic. Polymelomodus.
Modus.
Yeah. Okay. This is you.
Okay, so let's
play whatever you want on this.
Okay, so let me evaluate if I can see any tracks that look like they've got cool breaks in them or something.
Hey. Look, she's doing it like that. Okay.
Usually what I do is try and see if any of the tracks have got breaks in them. Because then if they've got breaks in them, it suggests it might be cool.
Uh-huh.
But what I'm going to do is I'm going to listen to 1 and 3 on there. I'm just going to go in.
So this is very interesting what you're doing. Can you explain what you're doing right now and trying to visualize?
Well, when I look at the record, you can usually tell the arrangement of the track based on the grooves, and you can see where the breaks are in the track.
Mm-hmm.
So for this, it's got a break 3/4 of the way in and then a smaller break about 1/4 of the way towards the end. But the other ones all seem quite solid apart from this one. So yeah, I would probably just go in with the track with a break and see what it sounds like.
Yeah.
But also I like to listen to track 1 because sometimes they put the strongest track on number 1. So let's go. Let's listen to this Czech record that we've never heard.
Please.
Before. That's a no.
It's nice.
It's very, very big band. Okay, let me skip it. It's quite interesting. Let me try the other side. I'll just do as if I was doing.
Yes, of course.
Fairly cool. Okay, this is what I would do. I'll just drop the needle. Yeah. So this is great, but for me, it's a bit too big band.
Okay. Can you please play the last one? I feel like
This
the last
last
one was the last one was pretty funky. No, the last track of this side.
I think it's the same track, no? Oh yeah, that is pretty funky. I feel like it's really, really great if it was less big band brassy. It would be perfectly in my taste.
To me, it's like music to sample.
Yeah, for sure. It's really cool to discover something from Czech though, because I don't think I have any jazz from there. So that's awesome. But this is actually great. I mean, that bit's brilliant. What is that? A synth in the background. What is that? I mean, I can't read this. I don't know what it says. That's really cool though.
Side two.
Yeah, that's awesome. That bit there is awesome. Yeah, that's really cool, isn't it? Almost worth buying just for that bit. Let's skip it back. Yeah. So it's obviously... So it's a one tracker. So it's that track. It's obviously a one track. Also, I think that's all the same song. Or is it? Yeah. So they've recorded it in one piece and they've split it off. That's cool. That's pretty heavy. We've discovered a banger. still a little bit big band. Cool. Perfectly done, JB.
I love this. You
Yeah,
know, like
that was cool. That was fun.
Yeah, I love what we did here because it's like another approach of the way we listen to vinyl. Sometimes we don't listen to like tracks like that, or like we just like we look for the grooves, we look for the breaks, we look for the loop.
Yeah.
Also, you know.
Yeah.
And I love it. It's like, to me, this is it. You know, like listen to like the first 3 notes and like, oh, this is it. And I think like this is a skill too, as like a hip hop or like electronic music house producer. You know, like you go through so many records, so you have to identify like in 3 seconds if this is hot or not. You know,
for me, when I drop a needle on, within half a second, I know if I like it or not. It's just like, yep, no. And if it's good enough to keep the needle on, then it means it's got potential, even if that may be a bit quick.
In your process of music producer, do you sample?
I do a lot of sampling, but usually in my more like broken beat and house music stuff, I'll sample. But a lot of the time I'll replace out the samples with musicians. Because obviously of the network of musicians that I'm lucky enough to work with, we can do our own versions of the samples if there's anything that we feel is not right to use, if it's too big a chunk or if it's too obvious a chord or something like that, then we just come up with our own ideas based on that as a piece of inspiration. Not replaying the samples exactly, but taking it as inspiration. So usually how I make my music is 100% form a song through all samples and then replace everything out with, I guess, using it as inspiration. And rather than just saying, okay, let's copy this drum pattern, let's do this, we use it as inspiration kind of thing. Yeah.
Amazing. I'm always curious about how my guests here play the music that they buy, you know, like play the vinyls that they buy. And you are pretty active on social networks. And sometimes there's something that I love. You just film your partner playing some gigs in your house because you have like your whole DJ set at home. And this is one of the way you share and listen to music at home, just like randomly go on the turntables and just like start DJing and playing sets just for the sake of setting up a vibe or an ambience in the house.
Yeah, so me, I never do that.
You never do that?
No, never, because I think for me, this is my job, I guess. So when I get home, I don't want to work. So I listen to music, but I don't necessarily DJ at home. But my partner, it's not his job. So for him, it's a fun thing.
Yeah.
So he just goes on the decks and like scratches and does DJ sets and like all that. So it's funny. I love to film. I love to catch my boyfriend playing like a jazz DJ set on his own.
Yes.
To just the teddies and the furniture. It's funny.
I love it. And do you have other moments where you play records, maybe together, or like share the way you share your passion? Is it something that you ritualize or not, or it's very spontaneous?
No, not necessarily. It's just spontaneous. I think that we go record shopping together and we tell each other if we discover new music. But I don't think it's deliberate. I think it just happens naturally. It's not like we don't plan it. Because we're both very passionate about music and record collecting, we just, it just happens.
Amazing. It was an absolute pleasure, as usual, to have you with us here at Hark.
Thank you.
And yes, we're looking forward for your next record. And yes, tell us where people can find you on social media if they were trying to stay, up to date with what you're doing.
You guys can find me by searching Rebecca Vasmant everywhere. And yeah, I would love to hear from all of you. And please keep an eye out for my next record as well. And thank you for having me. This has been amazing.
Thank you so much. This was Krates with Rebecca Vasmant. And if you're trying to keep track with my own,
follow JB. Everyone like and follow and subscribe.
Yeah, JXYBREEZ everywhere, and of course, Hark HRAK.Paris everywhere too.
Everyone follow this place too.
Yes, and see you guys at the next episode. All right.
Thank you for having me.
Peace. Bye.